Welcome back, guys, and today I'm in the middle of the most American place in Italy that I've ever been to. And traveling in Italy has been loved for many centuries by everybody, which is why me and my parents decided to book an apartment, take this beautiful camera with me, and film this beautiful vlog for everybody. And I genuinely hope you will love it.
And in this video you will see an empty fridge, an overflowing river, some premium ice, and of course much more. So let's start with the first 3 days which we spent on the beach and exploring the city we'll be living. And while getting to the apartment, I'd like to tell you a few interesting facts about the region of Italy called Abruzzo, where we'll be traveling for the next 9 days. Located in central Italy with a population of approximately 1.2 million people, it is known for its natural beauty and historical significance as a abode for Lombards and Normans. It took us around 6 hours to get there from Venice, and the first thing I saw there were a bunch of dumpsters. Since we'll be staying in Pineto, which is extremely popular among Russians because it has California style houses and it is located in southern Italy, which all Russians love, you could see Russian signs on dumpsters. And on our way, we saw this tower, which we'll visit in a couple of days. But now I think it's finally time to open the door and actually see what we got at the apartment. And by the way, it was extremely difficult to open this up because nobody has opened the door for around a year. And the first thing we see entering this house is a living room combined with a kitchen. And we could already see that there is no food at the fridge. And it was around 85 degrees in there, and at first it didn't really seem that hot. But then I understood it is extremely hot and I can't stand it, so we had to go for a walk all the time. But before leaving, I saw many people testing beds, following them, so let's do the same thing. Good.
And throughout this trip I'm gonna use this camera over here, and it makes these old style photos, and I will show them at the very end of this video. Okay, so now we're gonna go for a walk in this neighborhood and just have a look what we have here, and then we're gonna visit the beach.
As we decided to hit the town, my mom immediately saw this museum with kinda beautiful paintings which we couldn't miss. And right afterwards this museum we saw an Ukrainian boy singing on the stage. I was kinda surprised to hear Ukrainian songs in Italy, but I have to admit that boy is pretty good at singing and he wasn't even afraid of public. After a short walk back home, I understood that this city is extremely similar to all Italian cities. It dies out in daytime, whereas its nightlife is extremely active, and there are always a bunch of people listening to music and hanging out all together. And before actually going to sleep, I decided to read a book, and that was it for today. Well, guys, this is the second day of staying in Pineto, and I ain't gonna lie, it is extremely hot out here. I think at the apartment it's like 40 degrees. I can't stand it. I hope outside it won't be that hot.
because my phone, while I was trying to record this intro for you, just shut down because it was extremely hot and it overheated. So I had a cup of coffee and now we're heading outside, and of course I ain't gonna take my camera because it is extremely hot outside and my camera is like 14 years old and it is just gonna die, and I will shoot everything on my iPhone using this gimbal. So now we got these bags over here and we're heading to the beach.
Since I had only seen this city in the evening, seeing it in the daytime gave me a California vibe with palm trees and buildings from the 80s. And frankly speaking, I suppose Italy did it on purpose because many southern cities have similar appearances. But now let's finally move to the beach, where while I was trying to find something interesting to film for you, I saw these two bodies hiding from the heat under a log in its shade. The smaller one even sat on his knees for a while, and it was so fucking hilarious that I couldn't leave them alone for about 10 minutes. And as I finally left them alone, I found a raven looking for food in a sand, and while coming back home, I saw these two little guys once more running along the coast.
So we just came back, it is like 7 p.m. and now I'm gonna edit this video and actually color grade it and not to waste any time.
And this is how another beautiful day ended. And the third day starts with a workout at 6 am, and while I was running I decided to film a great introduction, but I couldn't see what I was filming, so video was absolutely terrible and I was filming my neck. And also the audio sucked, so now I record everything once more. And today I'll go to the bank and also go to the beach, and now let's have a look how it goes.
So I just came back to the bank and bank looked like this. Then I started looking for this bank and I finally found it. Then I had to stay in a queue for like 20 minutes, and as my turn came, I found out that I need documents, and I didn't have documents, so I came back home, and now I'm heading again to the bank. If it doesn't work, I will be extremely frustrated, and I will just say fuck it and go to the beach.
2,000 years later.
It took me half an hour to do that, but I did it and I'm extremely happy. But the only problem is that I cannot add this card in Google Pay or Apple Pay, and it sucks. Okay guys, so now I'm heading to the beach with my iPhone and my ND filter from HAIDA, and I'm intending to shoot some cinematic b-rolls for y'all, and I hope you will love them. And if so, please write down the comments, and even if you don't like them, still please write down the comments what you don't like and what should I improve. It is extremely hard to find anything new to film because all beaches are the same water, same sand. So we're just moving to the next day.
And while I was trying to film the ending of this day, this green asshole decided to play with his coin and really pissed me off. But now let's finally move on to the next day. It was a long drive, but along the road with so many weird Italian things. like a freaking plane on someone's backyard. And as we finally arrived, there were multiple signs, and we didn't really want to read them because everything appeared to be normal. But it was a huge mistake of amateurs in Italy.
So now we just came to this national park of Gran Sasso, and it's not really extremely hot as it used to be near the beach, so I can stand it. And here you can find some fountains and etc. So I'll show you that, and I hope you will enjoy that.
And this was the first cave for the day, and we didn't really want to proceed deep inside because many people peed there.
So on the 29th of June, all the water was cancelled over here, and it wasn't written in the intent. It was written on a small sign nearby. We have already passed it. So there is no water in waterfalls, there is no water in rivers, which is why it is extremely hot out here. So you won't see any waterfalls today, but I want to show you a castle, and it will happen in like 2 hours if we make it and actually arrive to that castle, which I doubt.
And that's what's supposed to be an overflowing river, and of course it has to be around 2 meters depth. And by the way, while I was filming some stuff, a nerdy asshole landed on my shirt, and I was just hoping it is not poisonous and it's not gonna bite me. In riverbed between stones there were a couple of puddles where hornets and also freaking snake could drink a little bit of water and save their lives from the heat, and I was just freaking out while filming that.
And yeah, of course, there is nothing to do over here, which is why we are heading back to the car and we want to visit a couple of cities.
After visiting the trail, while we were coming back to the car, we met a family of Russians with whom we'll meet in a couple of days. But now, let's visit our first city called Civitella del Tronco. And just take a look at these incredible views. Sadly, we couldn't stop to film a little bit better, but I hope you still enjoyed them. And half of the fortress was closed, so we had to pay only €2 per person. Well, looks like 2000 years later, they are still building this place. So, the first thing we saw at this tiny castle was this long street with stairs for horses and an exit on your right to a square. And on this enormous square, there was nothing interesting except a small entrance in a cave, which is an exact place I'm gonna go right now. And in this cave there was a reservoir full of water, which was used by natives for hundreds of years, and I actually think they're still using it for getting cold water. In this cave, the temperature was around 65 degrees, the air was extremely humid, and it was so dark that I could barely see anything. And here you can also hear some scary noises of dripping water, which I specially recorded for you to convey emotions I experienced there. So let's finally move from that scary cave to the top of the castle and actually have a look at the views we have here. And over there you could actually see a sea, and then a couple of mountains and etc. So around 40 kilometers away from the castle. And after enjoying the views, we decided to hit the center, which I personally find not any worse than any fortress. They even have their own flag, which you can see on your screen right now. And our next destination is gonna be a museum, where we found multiple household items that were used by noble families from 16th to 20th centuries in this era. I mean, it is a typical exhibition for this type of museum, but I think it's always interesting to see life of typical people who lived here many centuries ago. And you can actually see all the equipment they used to farm and even the special clothes they used. And frankly speaking, I don't understand how they could afford it because it was an extremely small city and they didn't really have anything over here.
But before leaving this city, let me show you the narrow street of Italy. And it is barely wider than the phone rig I use to film this vlog. And now let's see what we have upstairs. And there is nothing.
Which is why our next stop is a city called Ascoli Piceno. And you can see that this city it looks like more a typical fortress with towers, arches, and ancient buildings. And now you could actually see a small piece of fortress. I know it really looked like something from Middle Ages. And then we saw this piece of gas station from America, and it was actually a perfect spoiler for you for the seventh day. And while we were coming to the city center, I just wanted to tell you a brief history of this city. It was founded by ancient Piceni people before being conquered by Romans in 268 before Christ. The city grew around the Via Salaria, a sole trade route which boosted its economic and strategic importance. And this was its main building with a small garden, but we didn't visit it. And overall, it's a typical tiny city with narrow streets and a story that goes thousands of years back. Since the thunderstorm was about to start, we didn't have enough time to enjoy the views and visit all the museums, which is why these beautiful views lead us to the kitchen, where me and my parents ended this wonderful evening peacefully sipping wine and water, enjoying time together. This day starts with another beautiful city near Pescara, where we found a window from which you could see the pier protected by a small lagoon, on the edge of which you can find a tiny cafe. On the beach there was another big restaurant, and while waiting for food to be brought, we decided to swim in this lagoon for a while and enjoy the underwater world. There were multiple species of small fish, and on the bottom of the sea, swimming with a mask, you could even find small crabs hiding under the rocks. And as we went back to the restaurant, our food was immediately served, so we ate seafood and drank Italian beverages, enjoying beautiful views and time together. And by the way, I wasn't the only freak filming at this restaurant, so they must be used to it. And while filming that couple, we were brought a plate full of ice, and I need to say it was extremely icy. Overall, food was phenomenal, especially fried squid. Sadly, the rest of the day we spent driving, and there was nothing interesting to show to you.
And while we were swimming in the ocean, water entered this poor camera. I have no idea why it entered like that, and everything was absolutely wet. And as you see, there is a bit of corrosion. Now I will make it dry and we'll see. Maybe it will repair itself. I hope so. But of course, I will have to tear it apart and see if it has any corrosion and try to fix it.
Hello guys, and I genuinely appreciate you watching this vlog. While video editing it, I understood that I've spent over 300 hours for that, and I'm not going to get any money because my YouTube account has less than 1000 subscribers and I cannot add monetization, which is why I found a way to create Amazon affiliate links. I left them down below in the description and also in comment section. If you already wanted to buy the products I listed, please buy them from me. You will really help me out and it will cost you nothing. I will get around 3 or 4% from your purchase. I genuinely checked on my own that you will not overpay, so I'm absolutely sure you won't. So guys, Thank you very much, and let's come back to the vlog.
And here we are back on foot, and we are in a typical Italian village with narrow streets and ancient buildings. And here you can find sulfur springs. I have no ideas what that is, and that's why let's find out. And it is extremely hot out here, I can barely breathe.
And in around 50 meters we understood that we are in the right place, because through thick bushes and trees we could already see many people swimming in the river and hear the sound of multiple waterfalls surrounding the beach. Puddles and waterfalls with cool water pouring down the rocky landscape were full of sulfur, so they smelled like rotten eggs, and the grey water added uniqueness to the flows of this wide river. This was also an abode for many insects like butterflies and horseflies that tried to bite me many times. Sadly, we weren't the only ones there, so we could see many people covering their body with sulfur in order to smoothen their skin and detoxify their body. In general, water was extremely cold, but since it was so hot, I was even glad to be able to cool down a little bit. And as the day was ending, we saw many clouds covering the sky, so just minutes after coming back to the car, we'd been hit by a downpour, which means it was another day and in the car driving back home.
So guys, we've just arrived here, and I genuinely hope you loved the intro I filmed for you, because it was extremely hard because I didn't know what to film. As you know, I love United States of America, which is why we decided to go to the most American-like place in Italy. And guys, this place is absolutely magnificent, absolutely unique and American. Here you can find many species of insects that are jumping around all the valley, and even a spine of a sheep. And that's the place where all bikers get around to show up their bikes, hang out together, and feel like they are real Americans. And over there is a small camp where they cook fresh meat and drink beer.
Here, on the edge of Italy, where the valley stretches beyond the horizon, lies a reserve for various species of animals, insects, and flowers.
And while walking towards the cars, because we wanted to go to that camp, we found this beautiful place where sheep can drink some water.
While driving to our next destination, we saw cowboys riding their horses in a valley with small hills and mountains all around. It felt like we were in a ranch in Texas. As we saw a parking spot, we decided to make a small picnic nearby. And while eating fresh meal and cooling down with cold drinks, we saw a flock of sheep walking down into the Italian analogy of Grand Canyon. The view was wide open, with steep rocky walls stretching on both sides of the canyon. So, as we finished eating and all the sheep passed, we also decided to explore and have a closer look at the canyon. And as we went down, we saw a rocky road, which fills up with water in spring, when all the snow melts. But now it's absolutely parched. This canyon came up to be a historical place where around 20 Hollywood and Italian films took place. but frankly speaking, I've never heard of any of them before. And my father, being inspired by history of this place, decided to repeat one of the scenes, and that's the masterpiece we got. So, after visiting all the hidden gem spots of this tiny rocky canyon, our next stop is going to be that camp. And in about 5 minutes, we finally arrived there. Parking our car, we could already see a whole bunch of bikers sitting by the tables on small benches and drinking beer. At this place, we were provided with everything necessary to grill, but we must buy their meat. And frankly speaking, since they get this meat right from this valley, therefore it is not expensive at all. To order a meal, you need to take a ticket and wait for your turn. And that's where they sell all their meat, so we bought a couple of pounds of pork, so it's time to cook it.
So now I'm sitting at this beautiful, it's a restaurant camp, I don't know, and I'm about to eat. I'm waiting for my parents. And guys, I don't know, I love the atmosphere here, all the vibe, and just look at it. On your right, you can see beautiful valley, and on your left, you can see this camp with many bikers and other interesting people, I'd say.
And I must admit, guys, no food is better than a fresh grill. And when it was time to leave, we met this musician playing his Italian instrument. And if you know his name, please write down in the comment section down below. And it's time to leave this amazing place. But before ending this video, I wanted to mention, if you have a Tesla, please don't make trips like that, or at least take an electricity generator powered by gasoline. Otherwise, you will spend hundreds of dollars on a tow truck. And the last place we visited today was Pescara, where we enjoyed the views of the sea drinking fresh orange juice. And this is how this vlog comes to the conclusion. Thank you for watching, I really appreciate that, and see you in the next one.